Ooh, welcome back, Dota 2 fans, for Game 2 of this best of 3. We got Apezone versus Rebeldes, and Apezone able to take down the squad hailing out of Brazil in a very well-played Game 1, where they came back from a pretty big deficit in the mid-game to take it in around 45 minutes. We are More Rage Please and Sir Action Slacks, your English coverage for your Dota 2 Canada Cup main qualifier. Slacks, anything you feel Rebeldes needs to do in this second game that they weren't able to in Game 1?
Oh, man. Well, Rebeldes, they had that game in the bag if it wasn't for their kind of misstep plays right at the last two team fights. So what they did was very, very good. If you remember, they got that sniper and they walked back instead of pushing up that uphill. So they got to take, that aggressive stance while they can. So you don't want to give Apezone any room. These guys know how to come back. At least they know that now. And I doubt they'll be making the same mistakes in this game.
Yeah, and Apezone going to get the first pick in this one as well, so well played by them to take it when they had that second phase. They're going to ban out the Juggernaut is Rebeldes from this game, so not going to give that back over to Confessor. We're going to see, interestingly enough, a Chen first phase ban come out from Apezone. More often than not, this is kind of a respect ban, but I'm not sure if Rebeldes has run it. I haven't seen them run it, but they're going to ban out the Lycan as well, so sticking to banning out the push theme. Maybe they're looking to take this one a little bit later. They'll pick up the first pick Troll.
Yeah, you definitely hit it on the head of the nail right there. It looks like they will be looking for a more of a mid-game to late-game lineup. Excuse me, with a ban on Chen, because, as you said, they got two giant pushers taken out, so hopefully Rebeldes picks up on that strategy and they get ready for some early-game aggression.
Yeah, definitely so. Shadow Fiend Venge going to be picked up. Strong 1-2 coming out from Rebeldes. We'll see how able their mid laner is up with this Shadow Fiend. So it will be interesting if HFN picks that up again. Made a few missteps, as you mentioned, on the PA in the last one. Feeling a little bit too strong after that BKB pickup. Jumped headlong into a couple of engagements and fed his life over. Interestingly enough, Apezone going to pick up the Earthshaker, who is very good up against Lycan and Chen. So if they planned on that, that's a little bit of an odd of banning into picking transition, but either way is some nice long-range initiation for some of these more squishy hero cores at the start, like the Shadow Fiend. So not a bad pickup at all for sure. And they will. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. I'm just a little confused by the Earthshaker ban. I mean, he's not. He's not particularly good against either one of these heroes, unless they're planning on running a crit shaker. I'm a little confused as to why to pick that up, especially so early too, because they could have made a mistake later and picked up some kind of big creep hero. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting too. It's not like the Troll Warlord buffs up a core Earthshaker if that's the route they're going either, and they prioritize that Troll. So I doubt it'll be a core yes here, because he relies on that Enchant Totem, which is on a 5-second cooldown. So the Battle Trance not the biggest buff up to his ability to deal damage. Once again, we're gonna see the Omni Knight ban. You might as well just close this Skype call. Just forget it.
Oh, stop banning Omni Knight! Come on. But, I mean, I can totally understand that. Omni Knight can just wreck an Earthshaker and a Troll Warlord. Troll's biggest weakness is to take make him change targets so that he loses that fever buff. Yeah. And Omni Knight can do just that, make him switch up the targets, attack much slower, and not be able to do hardly as much damage. So, good ban out by the Omni Knight. Respect bans from the best hero in Dota 2. What are you going to do?
Yeah, definitely so. And as you mentioned, isolating that Troll and being able to kite him around is certainly something Rebeldes is going to want to look to do. So they'll pick up the Clockwork here. On paper, people often consider him a counter to the Troll, but if you leave yourself alone in the cogs with the Troll, most times he will melt you unless you get that Blade Mail. So early pickup on the Blade Mail, probably incoming for this Clockwork here. Should be Leposa picking that up. He played very well on his clock yesterday against Together We Did It. So perhaps can look to make a little bit more happen on the clock than he did in the bat. Was very effective early on, but fell off heavily in the mid to late game in Game 1. So we'll see what direction Apezone take this in. Bat Rider ban did come out from Rebeldes, and as well as that Faceless Void.
Yeah, well, as we've seen all the time in Canada Cup, when somebody picks the Clockwork, homie knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I can only assume that this is going to be one heck of a Clockwork coming out, and with the first item, as you said, is definitely a Blade Mail. Is a great choice.
Yeah, certainly so. So we'll see if Apezone are going to pick up one of their cores here. Perhaps they could round out their support duo. AA, not bad once again. Rebeldes picked that up last game. we could see Apezone go for it. It's pretty good into the cogs, and as well it combos nicely with the cogs if they wanted to pick that up from Rebeldes. Really no sustain or healing coming out from either team, so not the biggest deal, but they will pick another support who does well into cogs in that Skywrath Mage, so they'll have the Mystic Flare there available to them.
Yeah, they better hurry up, though. That Clockwork with the Blade Mail, like we were talking about, can melt a Skywrath Mage with the cogs. He's usually much more tanky, so that might be a mistake. I personally do not like Skywrath against Clockwork at all.
Yeah, he's very squishy as well, so if he's able to get a hook on the Sky, more often than not, it'll garner him a kill. Even if he gets that Ancient Seal off, it should only delay the inevitable very low base armor and HP for that Skywrath Mage. Ancient Seal's nice into Shadow Fiend if you can get it off while he's channeling the Requiem, but as soon as he picks up a BKB, should be reliably able to do so, barring some lucky bashes from the Troll. So I feel like Shadow Fiend should have a pretty good time if he's able to farm well in the laning stage, but definitely look for this Earthshaker Skywrath to roam a bit towards his lane.
Yep. It's all going to be about this early game. If Shadow Fiend gets enough room to do what he needs to do, he will just decimate the Earthshaker and the Skywrath, which will be feeding him up a Witch Doctor Peak coming out from Rebeldes. Interesting there. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's some more physical damage for them, which is certainly nice into their lineup with the minus armor from Venge, so they don't rely heavily on magic damage doing the work. Generally, you'll see Troll eventually build into a BKB, but up against their lineup, it's really not the best choice. It's kind of a catch-22, though, because you've got the Requiem, you've got the Battery Assault early on that will do a lot of magical damage, so kind of feel like you do have to pick up BKB because of these disables, but at the same time, there's so much physical coming out now from the Venge, from the Witch Doctor, from the Shadow Fiend, that BKB just isn't the best item slot for a Troll in this one, so I like to pick up the Voodoo Restoration also there, no AA quite yet in the pool, and with both supports already shown from Apezone, presumably, unless, as you mentioned, it could be a core Earthshaker, the Voodoo Restoration should prove pretty good in the early game, and as we mentioned, that's going to be one of the pivotal intervals in this one.
Yeah, I like the puck pickup very much. That is exactly what you need to make sure that Shadow Fiend did not start going ham. They've got a ton of magical burst damage in that early game, so it looks like Apezone is really hoping to win that mid game and go for an early game win, but if it doesn't work out, they do have Troll Warlord, which can go pretty much toe-to-toe to anybody if you play him right.
Yeah, look for some late game potential here from Apezone in this final pickup. Bristleback Shadow Fiend, not the scariest late game combo by any stretch, so if they pick up something like a Spectre here, something along those lines, they definitely can secure themselves the late game. They have a lot of space creation in the three heroes in the middle of that lineup for Apezone, ES, Skywrath, Puck, so definitely can look to create a little bit of space for a hard farmer. They're actually going to pick up the Storm, so I think you're correct. This could be a core Earthshaker, but probably we'll see a mid lane Storm with the off lane Puck and Confessor in that safe lane. So interesting draft coming out from Apezone. A lot of initiation available to them. Orchid pretty good against a lot of what Rebeldes has.
Yeah, I'm a little worried, though. I mean, they've got a lot of initiation, but they've also got a lot of squish, and if that Bristleback is able to just dominate early game, it could be a complete opposite of what Apezone is looking for. It's a very confident pick that Apezone did, so I wonder if that's going to pay off or bite him in the booty, but I'm sure we'll find out soon.
Yeah, I don't know if they have what it takes to burst down this Bristle if he's able to get to that mid-game. Early on, a lot of magic damage from the Puck, ES, Skywrath. Storm Spirit, but once he gets his mid-game critical mass up, it's going to be hard to bring down this Bristle. Storm is one of the more deceptively high armor base heroes, but at the same time, he's really not going to be able to survive up as well as the ES, Skywrath, and Puck later on into the game against this Bristleback. So, yeah, I like Rebeldes' draft a little bit better than Apezone's, but we saw their ability to come back from a deficit in Game 1, and they certainly have the inclination to do so. Already up 1-0. This is a best of 3, guys. Going to hop right into this one. Why don't you take your beloved Apezone on the dire side?
Yay! Hey, they're not beloved, just easier names to say, such as GKTA running on your Earthshaker stand, and Dan is going to be playing your Storm Spirit, Banana King as your Skywrath Mage, and the Troll Hualard, your Confessor. Last but not least, the man who can't seem to pick his hero, Yugi, a little confused as to the last and only hero he could possibly
the only hero he can pick, just a little bit hesitant about it, but looks like they need a pause, so perhaps he's a little bit AFK at the moment. But Radiant side is going to be Rebeldes. They've got HFN in the mid lane on his Shadow Fiend. Cat going to pick up the Vengeful Spirit. Liposa presumably going towards that off lane with his Clockwork. We've got Plock replacing Ned in this one on the Witch Doctor, and that leaves CYS on his Bristleback.
You're gonna have just replacements like that? What is this, Pee-wee? I mean, you just replacing people mid-game? That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely so. Ned was a stand-in, not actually part of the lineup. Either is Plock. Plock, a very nice sound effect, I guess. Plock. We'll try and fit that in. Unfortunately, there's no sniper ultimate to use there, but fit that in somewhere in the game. Maybe a Mystic Flare. Plock, right? Yep. Mystic Flare. Sounds about right.
All right. Well, let's take a look at the effigies. That's my favorite part.
We got Dire
Oh my God! They don't have any effigies. They got one on Team Radiant. That's it. It doesn't even have an inscription. What is with this?
Yeah, man. Pretty sad.
Great. I mean, well, nice.
So let's give it an inscription.
I'm gonna call this
bro down. Like you come at me, bro.
Come at me, bro would be a pretty classic one. I'm gonna say I would call it hugs for everybody.
Free hugs.
Definitely
free hugs. Dire side, we got a icy Phoenix and definitely unintelligible description there.
Looks like something from an anime. I don't know. Forget about it. And we have a
must be a Pokemon.
Ember.
Yeah. Definitely.
Oh, I remember this one. Dan's Tyrant statue by Dan. It's one of the Sec my dog. Dog is sick. Dog sick.
What hero is this even? Is this an Ember Spirit? Oh, it is.
That's Ember Spirit. Dan's Tyrant statue by Dan. It sounds like something like a 5th grader would make, you know? Like, look,
wow,
is this
look at
Dan's,
this salt.
Dan's statue?
So
I'm
much
not salty.
salt.
I'm just like having a bit of creativity.
Check out the chat.
Slacks' cool statue by Slacks.
look at the chat right now. Pink spilled Coke on his cat, and CYS from Rebeldes says we don't care. That's a little much. It's a little much. Coke all over the place, man.
You can't say stuff like that.
It's in the chat.
That's our last Canada Cup cast anyway. Who cares? The Iron Branch has been left. No! Look at the horror. The branch. And it's picked up by the squid.
That's a pretty nice courier, right?
And now he's a pig.
Yeah, this is a little better, I think. He's got a broom. Is that racist towards pigs? Pigs are supposed to clean or something?
Yeah, maybe they live in filth and they should have brooms.
Right.
Nice job, Vovo.
How do you let something like that through, honestly? Bot lane, we might see an engagement. Probably not, though. Puck wisely going to back off for Yugi. Hopefully has a little bit of a better game on his Night Stalker. And this Omni Knight going to rape you. Look, they know you're here, Slacks. They know
what?
You're here.
They banned Omni Knight. Omni Knight ain't going to rape anybody, you banners. Jesus. We got a 5v5 rune initiation here. I can't wait. Oh, wait, 4v5. This is it. Yellow's not there. Clockwork's not there. If they dare to go in, it's going to be a wipe. No!
Stand-in Dan is a banner of the Omni Knight, unfortunately. And Bounty Rune, still 9 seconds. Liposa going to pick his up top lane pretty easily. Actually, the Troll Warlord going to run over towards him. Liposa going to look to cog him up, but we'll go towards this bot lane where there's been a Fissure block. And Dan is able to grab up that Bounty Rune. Only the cask to stun him up for now. He'll be just fine. Liposa going to get that one in the top. So 1 each for teams on the Bounty Runes.
The match is as even as possible, ladies and gentlemen.
Net worth chart.
Bounty Rune. Crazy!
Yeah, either way.
I like this rune here. I like this ward here. This is something I've learned from the Canada Cup. Apparently a very nice ward here. I've never seen this before Canada Cup. But look at all that vision it gives. If they get ganked at all from that bottom side, you're good to go.
Yeah, definitely allows Dan to posture up pretty aggressively to find his farm, and more often than not, you'll see him towards this south side, which will allow him to have some time to anticipate ganks from the north, and of course, the vision from the bottom will give him time to anticipate those from the south. So definitely, let's talk about these off-lane matchups for a sec. Puck into Bristleback Witch Doctor, and then when he comes into lane, Cat's Venge, as opposed to your Clock into your Skywrath, Troll, and Earthshaker. Who do you think is going to have a better time?
Oh, definitely the Puck, of course. I mean, cogs is the only thing that this guy really has, and they have so much ways to attack him in those cogs.
Yeah.
They could trap him out with the Earthshaker, they could get him with the Skywrath, whereas Puck, he's just an escape king. He can go anywhere he wants, and he can be aggressive too. Look at this Puck go. But he might bab it a little bit more than he can chew. Don't make me look stupid, Yugi, please! And there he goes, Yugi, making it out alive. He's going to walk right by those, but he's got very little health. He's not really getting anything on the XP so far. Meanwhile, in mid, let's take a look at our last hits. Look at that 9 and 2 on your QQQ. He's looking to go ham. Now, we did see him as your PA last time, so I do hope he makes some better decisions this time, not to say that he didn't play well.
Yeah, Yugi bot lane has no phase shift, needs to be careful. There's a magic missile here available from Cat. They're going to throw out the wave of terror on top of, and they're going to stun him up before being able to jaunt Yugi. Gonna feed over his life, and
now
just
I look like an idiot.
Caster's curse, man. Happens to the best of us.
Oh, Puck is taken out again. Although we did see that Yugi is not really their best. I don't want to say this, but every time the kid goes
he
off,
didn't have the best game. We'll say that much. He didn't have the best game. Liposa already level 3 because he rotated out of lane, chasing down this Witch Doctor. He's not even level 2 yet. So things looking good for the Brazilian squad early on, but it looks like they were able to pick up Yugi in game 1. So we'll see if they're able to do so as well in game 2.
Yep, I've been waiting for Yugi to have a really cool play so I could go Yu-Gi-Oh! But it has yet to happen. Homie just not doing work this time.
Yeah, no passive yet picked up by CYS on the Bristle, so perhaps looking to get aggressive with the 2 stuns available to him from his supports. But once phase shift is up for Yugi, and it is now, he should be able to just soak the cask and reliably dodge this magic missile pretty fine. So he will throw out the orb here, but the Voodoo Restoration is going to keep block up for quite a while. He'll be able to jaunt away to the north, but once again, he's not finding any experience in this lane when he chases down these supports. And really, he should be able to just sit up in lane against the Bristle and wait for the supports to rotate in and soak experience while they don't. Smoke gank coming out from Apezone though. Banana King as well as GKTA looking to find this Shadow Fiend in the mid lane. Rocket Flare is going to scout that they're not top lane from the Clockwork, however, and therefore they are probably going to back off HFN's Shadow Fiend.
I tried to draw a banana, but it looked more like a chili pepper, so it didn't work out.
Yeah, Courier's here as well, but the support's going to rotate out, retreat to the jungle, start to stack some camps for their Troll Warlord here. And HFN going to be just fine. A little bit of wasted economy from Apezone, and the early game going Rebeldes' way in pretty much all 3 lanes.
Yeah, I mean, that is something that we saw last time too. Rebeldes was really leading in the early game. Hopefully they're able to be a little bit more aggressive. I really think that they're going to learn from their mistakes in the last game, and when they get that lead, keep that pressure on and do what they can here. Yugi still, he's just not doing too well in this bottom lane here. He is only level 2 compared to the level 5 on Bristleback. So those quills are going to start stinging real bad real soon. Level
Definitely
2,
so.
Puck? Come on, baby.
Yu-Gi-Oh! But he's going to dive really deep as CYS here onto Yugi. Doesn't really have the kill potential. No disable available for this Puck. Is going to eat an Illusory Orb. Will be just fine. However, he's pretty deep behind the tower and going to make Yugi pay for staying up in lane and finding his XP here. He's got 2 quill stacks still up on him. CYS, there are going to be TP rotations inbound. GKTA with the Fisher available to him here is not going to be able to block him off. And yeah, shot just wayward. They probably could have brought him down. The supports were way out of position for RBD.
Yep. Carry on, my wayward Earthshaker. Meanwhile, in the top lane, not too much going on. The Lupiesa is level 4, so he's doing just fine as well. Troll Warlord, level 5, and level 6 on Skywrath Mage. Some action going on in the mid. I don't know if it's really action. This guy's just kind of farming instead of being mid, so that ain't so actionful. But I'm really concerned about the amount of mobility Team Ape has. Their early game not doing so hot, but almost everybody on their team is going to have an escape pretty soon here, except for Skywrath. So, pretty scary stuff.
Yeah, definitely so, and RBD do want to stand around in fights with this Bristle more often than not, as well as the Clockwork. They do have some initiation available to them from Liposa, but yeah, next level plays, soaking up XP from the low ground is Liposa. But he's going to pick up his level 5 here, which is pretty nice for him. We'll have some solo kill potential onto that Skywrath, as you mentioned earlier, once he picks up that hook shot. But TP's inbound from the Earthshaker once again. Perhaps they look to finally punish him for standing up in lane. Yugi bot lane looking to pick up his level 4 here.
Yeah, Yugi just had a great dodge at the bottom lane. A cask was thrown at him, he phased out of it, and then the stun was thrown out. And he actually teleported to the illusionary orb, when that happened as well. So a double stun dodge. It looks like Yugi's finally starting to get his head around Puck again, which is understandable. That happens to me too. You start playing a hard hero like Puck, you need a few minutes to reacquaint yourself.
Yeah, definitely so. One of the hero with an inclination to make big plays with his elusivity. So, bot lane, he is going to have some goose stacks thrown on him, I should say. Cat is here. He's going to throw the orb out, however, should be able to jump pretty reliably to the north. 10 stick charges on him as well. Should be just fine. Regen rune is up in the top lane. No one able to pick that up quite yet. And in terms of the CS, Rebeldes looking very good. Confessor farming not the best, but is better than the Bristleback right now. HFN benefiting from those stacks mid lane sitting atop the charts.
Well, they got to put the hurt on somebody pretty soon, but they need at least a couple levels here. We should be seeing some real action happening about the 10-minute mark, but as far as it goes, I would say the laning phase definitely going to RBD so far. We'll see if they can make some work happen when it's time to go from laning to mid game.
Yeah, definitely so. GKTA going to scout out this regen rune, try and secure it for his Storm Spirit. He puts some high ground vision up on their side. It was scouted out, however, by the Radiant side. They've got this ward here, and they pinged it out. That was the Clockwork. Mass TP's in bot lane. Yugi going to get dove on, gets brought down. Nice Fisher onto 3. Ancient Seal bringing CYS low. Enchant Totem is going to land. Ball Lightning finishes him off, but they get the Skywrath as well. Plock is going to go down to the tower. No disables. Oh, the Enchant Totem is there for Cat. And overall, should be 3 heroes going down from the side of Apezone. So of RBD, I should say. So Apezone taking some momentum in this early game.
We're having some trouble with the stream, homie. They say it's slideshow style.
Yeah, I'm dropping a few frames, but it seems to have smoothed out now. So if I see it, yeah, if I see it continue, then I'll drop the stream and restart it.
No!
Restart. Yeah, it seems to be smooth out now, so apologies for the technical difficulties, guys. But 3-3 is your score. Didn't miss too much. Pretty even at this point. RBD farming well, but they feed over a lot of heroes just for a puck in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, Shadow Fiend up at the top. 2 raises out onto Confessor. The third one very well placed from HFN. He's got a haste rune looking to chase down this courier and doesn't have vision of it, so not able to do so. Looking for more deaths. Not going to find it. Bot lane, Yugi taking a few more stacks to his face. We'll be able to back off just fine now.
Oh, I don't know what the courier was doing there. Oh, are they baiting the courier? I think that was a courier bait. I don't know what's going on. This is too next level for me. The courier's still running around in circles. Storm Spirit looking to pick up a nice Vengeful Spirit kill. He will get that last hit before he's stunned out. And could they go on the Witch Doctor now? He does have backup there in the form of Skywrath Mage, and that's going to be a kill on the Doctor as well. The next level courier plays not working out, unfortunately. That was some sad stuff.
Yeah, it looks like stream smooth now, so things should be fine. But 4-5 is your score, and yeah, no TP is really available from most of the side of RBD in that mid lane. They just kind of let their Witch Doctor as well as their Venge go down. They're not the 2 biggest losses, of course, both their supports, but no one available. Hookshot is now here for Liposa in the mid lane. He's going to look to find something, but very wisely so. Apezone going to totally abandon that for the time being. And Dire Vision, not sure if they saw him in the river walking up to this high ground position here.
There you go. They're going to put some fire down in the bottom lane on Bristleback. I'm not sure they're going to have enough to take out that bristly body of his. Looks like Bristle's going to actually turn around and go for Standing Dan. The Skywrath Mage putting on a little bit of hurt right onto his face, not his back. So Bristleback going to be hurting a little bit. He does pick up a Vanguard, though, so he's just going to get tankier and tankier. As soon as he gets maybe a Pipe of Insight, that Bristleback's going to be going crazy.
Yeah, very nice item in this game against the Storm, Skywrath, Earthshaker, and the Puck for sure is the Pipe. Did you steal that from the lore, Bristly Body? I feel like I've read that before. Bristly Body.
Bristly Body? I hope not. I hope they have better writers than that over at Valve HQ. Gracious.
Nice Fisher blocking out Liposa in the top lane. He'll get the cogs off, though. He'll be able to retreat to safety. Yugi in the mid lane. They're going to have a zip forward onto HFN. And Loser Orb going to hit as well. Waning Rift is there. And the Death Requiem doing a lot of damage, but big kill going the way of Apezone here in the mid game.
Yeah, that was huge. I want to look at the graphs in a little bit because that's going to be quite a swing down from that huge kill on the Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend's still 1,000 gold ahead of your Storm Spirit, though, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, he had an excellent time in the mid lane, especially with those stacks as well. He's almost tripled the CS of the Storm Spirit right now, 39 to 100. So Dan not having the greatest early game, but certainly a very big pickup. He's almost eclipsed his level 11 mark as well, and is going to build into that early Orchid. Definitely very nice up against the Clockwork and even the Venge and the Witch Doctor to an extent.
I haven't seen you do any drawings today. You know when you cast with me, you have to do a drawing, right? So hook me up with something in the mid, please.
Okay. All right.
Whatever you want.
Well, let's see. What do we got here? We can do some of this. Right? You like these?
What the hell is that? A worm? Pay attention! Down at the bottom lane, these Bristleback is going to be
come
knocked
on.
out here by
You missed
a
my moose.
3-man counter rotation. Yugi, the Earthshaker, and the Skywrath Mage. You can't be drawn, man. We got stuff to do.
God,
and in the top
missed my moose.
they're going to be pushing that
That's a nice bounty of experience going the way of Apezone as well. About 400 to each of the heroes involved. We will have the glyph for the top lane. Looking at the TP situation for Apezone, it's pretty good. They got 4 TPs available. Troll Warlord, the only one with not one available. So they should be able to jump forward to this top lane and mount a defense. It looks like we're going to have some ping issues, as did I in this one. But we're going to see Plock reconnect now. So hopefully he will be able to jump back in.
I do hope so. That would be nice. Witch Doctor is out of here. Oh, they're unpausing! My God! Sorry. I misread the whatever. Doesn't matter. We're back. And that's what's important. And this ancient sec is going down. That's also important. Look at it go!
I don't know if us being back is important or the fact that we never left. I think that's pretty L deep.
Here's Troll Warlord taking out the ancients, and he looks like a jerk.
Dan picks up a bounty rune, fill up his bottle. He's got 1 Oblivion Staff. Needs quite a bit until his Orchid, but looking for a pick-off. He's going to have the clear vision from this Static Remnant on the high ground if he elects to drop one here. And he will see HFN in this mid lane. He's got the support of his Earthshaker as well. HFN, though, very wisely so, going to back off, seeing that Earthshaker sitting up on the high ground. Knowing that 1v1, the Earthshaker would be very scared, so they're probably teammates nearby. Yugi going to look to put a little bit of pressure into this tier 1, but simultaneously, CYS going to drop their safe lane tier 1 very low. Mid lane, Dan does go in. He's going to find out Cat. He will catch the Magic Missile and the Requiem. Raze is going to finish him off as well, and somehow the Vengeful Spirit survives. Big kill. Storm Spirit, highest value target at the time. Meanwhile, they get the tier 1 in the top lane. Yugi not able to bring the tier 1 in the bottom even to half HP. He's going to use his orb to farm here. He's a little bit susceptible. Liposa goes in with the hook, but the creep wave going to soak up a lot of that battery assault, and Yugi still with no mana can be chased down here though. Confessor going to rotate in, blocks in his puck. And yeah, Liposa going to back off. Not sure why, but a little bit worried about being bashed up by the troll there.
Hey man, you know, you gotta teach your teammates if they want to go in and mess up like that, they're gonna pay. So he blocks the puck. Make sure he gets a few more hits. Maybe
a little bit of tough love. Yeah, a little bit of tough love coming out from the troll. As you mentioned, a lot of mobility from Ape, and they will look to supplement that further. Confessor picking up a Blink Dagger on the Troll Warlord, so interesting pickup from him. Is going to rely a little bit on some initiation from other teammates, but he will be able to join the fray pretty quickly. So nice pickup for him. Blink Dagger also available for HFN's Shadow Fiend now.
Yep, Shadow Fiend is doing pretty good still. He's still, only 4,000 ahead of the next highest person, the Troll Warlord. So he's doing alright, I guess.
No big deal at all. 3,200 gold available to him. Do you feel like it's a BKB game? I feel like it's a great BKB game for HFN.
I feel like it's a must-have BKB game. I'm thinking BKB is a must. Oh, initiation! But this might be a little bit more than the Storm Spirit's ready to chop off. Actually, it's looking pretty darn good. They're going to be cleaning up both those supports. Storm Spirit going to want to try to get out of there. He's going to blink in a way unpredictable direction there, right into the other team. So I didn't think he'd do it, but he certainly did. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, the Troll Warlord is going to be smacking that guy, and boom goes all that money. The Fiend is dead. Traded off for the Storm Spirit. The two guys go down.
I hate to say it, and I generally don't, but Yugi killed the Dan Storm Spirit there. If he jumps in on the orb, he got a coil and an orb onto 2. The Fisher was there as well, but he Waning Rifted before jumping in, and if he did jump in and Waning Rift, he kills off those 2 supports instantly, and Dan is just fine, but he leaves Cat alive. He's able to swap back the Storm Spirit, and Dan is dead. So very big misplay coming out from Yugi there, and unfortunately hasn't had the best series thus far, but Ape's still in a decent standing at this point. They do need to continue to shut down HFN, who has already picked up 2 components towards his BKB and is only 200 away from completing it up.
Maybe they should replace Yugi like they replaced the other guy. Just kidding. Just joking, Yugi. We love you.
That we do. Yeah, BKB fully finished off.
What? Yugi gonna try to put some orbs down on that Shadow Fiend. The Fiend ain't into all that Fairy Dragon BS. He gonna dodge that. He's not into magic. He's into death. And that BKB does come out. 10-second charge on the Demon. So yeah. And you know what else might be a good play by this Demon? I'm gonna just say maybe a Lincoln Sphere. What do you think about that?
It's not bad versus what they have to offer for sure. I feel like it's a little bit too defensive for my liking. They have quite a bit to pop it. Hook shot though, gonna go out onto Confessor. He's gonna look to man up against Liposa. Easy kill. Swap into the cogs from Cat. The Death Ward will bring down the Troll Warlord, however, and they are gonna look to chase forward. Blink forward from HFN. He'll get instantly silenced. He's gonna BKB out. Gets the raise off onto the Skyrath. Yugi gonna be able to jaunt back towards the north. But either way, 2 for 1 thus far. Still a nice play from the Troll, as all he could do was to man up. But they get the tier 1 off it. They could even look to aggress into Roshan off of that engagement, but doesn't look like that's the call quite yet. Either way, still a favorable engagement going RBD's way.
Santa Dan overstaying his welcome a little bit on a double TP. He is going to be able to blink out, though. A counter blink coming out from the Demon. And Demon says, forget it, I'll just get some creeps. So he's got to build back up. He's only got 36 stacks, and he needs more, so no worries. Sure.
Yeah, he'll probably look to build into a damage item sometime here soon. 1,400 gold available to him. He's going to start to get pretty scary. Confessor has closed the gap a bit, though, on the Troll after picking up that Clockwork kill. Is on level 12 very soon with the Blink Dagger. Mithril Hammer available to him as well. Only 2k behind this SF, so things looking a little better for Ape. Yugi still not anywhere near his Blink Dagger. Only at 990 gold. 17 minutes into the game is pretty poor for a puck, even from coming out of the offlane. In fact, GKTA's Earthshaker is only about 150 gold away from his Blink for the 4 roll, so...
Yowza! I can't wait for the dunks! So that's gonna be great. Can't wait for the slams. So we got the Clockwork. Clockwork's still not anywhere near that Blade Mail that he desperately needed for his first item. So he hasn't bought any components for that yet. And he's got to get to work. These two supports, I don't know what's going on over here. What is this? We having a meeting of the minds? Get to work, boys! Stack some camps! Do something! Out you go! Yeah! They're going...
Definitely so, and solo Roshan being attempted by Confessor's Troll Warlord. It's been pinged out by only the dire side, so he should be just fine. And either way, he's going to take this down relatively easily.
Troll. Draw me a picture of Troll. We got a set.
What does
Come
Troll
on,
even look like? What is he?
You can see him right there!
Got a nice horn here. Here's his mask.
Nice.
He's a mean
Moving too
dude.
slow, though. He's going to run out.
Kind of a mean dude, but either way, they're gonna get the Aegis, and they'll give that over to the Storm Spirit, which is one of the best Aegis carriers in the game for sure. An extra full set of health and mana for a Storm can do a lot of work. He's got his full Orchid up as well, so solo kill potential pretty real. They're gonna need a little bit more vision for the dire side though in order to do that, and they really only have this one high ground ward on the entire Radiant side of the map, so not going to be able to find anything instantly off of that Roshan, but perhaps he looks to get on to Liposa in this mid lane sometime soon. Confessor still content to jump back and farm, and it seems like both teams really playing it very civilly in this one, and no one wanting to fight too much.
Can I redact my earlier statement? Lincoln Sphere would be a very stupid idea for Shadow Fiend. Please don't build that. I don't know if you were listening to me. I've been thinking about that.
I politely disagreed. You
politely disagreed. You should have called me out. Be like, what are you thinking? That's a terrible idea. And luckily, he's going to be picking up an ultimate orb, so I'm a little scared. Is this going to be a Manta?
Probably. Yeah, probably the Manta. Maybe a Scotty. Scotty not bad in this one as well. The raw HP pretty good against all this magical damage coming out. There is a decent mix of it with the Troll Warlord too, providing some physical in the mix. So yeah, will be interesting. Dan gonna jump in with the Aegis. Looks to take out Cat. Brings him fairly low. Voodoo Restoration keeping him up. He is probably gonna feed the Aegis. No, he'll be able to zip to the low ground. And with the Soul Ring, does get away. BKB misclick.
Well, that was a misclick. I didn't mean to laugh. My bad, QQ. That's definitely a 9-second BKB going to the wayside for, I don't know, maybe those Ancients had something under their sleeve. A hidden Dagon or something? You can never be too sure.
Yeah, definitely a little bit odd choice there, but
yeah, definitely.
Feels very safe.
Possible.
Blink finally 20 minutes in, coming out for Yugi. And he'll be looking to make some plays off the back of that. CYS has quietly been able to find his farm on the Bristleback. 3rd overall on the net worth. Sanjin Yasha Vanguard up for him. Looking pretty tanky at this point. Also going to dish out quite a bit of damage. So we'll see if he's able to get some things done in this team fight. But as you mentioned earlier, a very elusive lineup from Ape should be able to kite around this Bristleback pretty effectively.
They're very elusive. They're like the Bigfoot or the fabled Nessie. It's gonna be hard to catch them, and when you do take a peek, maybe you're gonna die. Here comes some death right here on Bristleback. They're dropping everything on this Bristleback. Unfortunately, that Skywrath does catch a couple creeps in that, so it takes a little longer than necessary, but they get the kill anyway. And like a ghost, they fly on out.
Why is
250 MS coming in from Stan and Dan?
What does that even mean?
Is that good? What's an MS?
I have no
Question
idea.
mark. Counterpoint hit by Bristleback. Let's see what they're gonna say to that. He's got issues! Out from Team Ape. The mental battle is on. The verbal assault coming out from Team Ape.
A little bit of internal banter going on between Ape. Brazilians don't seem to be having any of it. But currently Apezone with the 1-0 lead. Perhaps looking to get into the minds of these Rebeldes players a little bit. Yugi going to do some farming in the bot lane. Push the wave out as well. And we'll be able to clean up most of this. Perhaps he's able to build one other item in this game. Took him 20 minutes to find the blink. So we'll see.
Oh my goodness. What is that at the bottom rune by the diode pit? Could it be? It is Nessie!
And apparently she ate a regeneration rune at some point in her travels through the sea. But that'll be a nice prize if you can get in her stomach. And Confessor gonna get the cask bouncing towards him through the Ancients as well. It's bouncing pretty nicely. Hook shot, not gonna be there though. Liposa sending the rocket flare from way downtown. And they're a little bit afraid to jump into Confessor without too much vision behind him. So everything gonna stagnate for now. 9-12 is your score. We've got 22 minutes played and only 21 kills thus far in the game. So pretty sad stuff.
Sad stuff. Not a lot of action. These two teams have been putting on a lot of hurt on each other, but not this game. They both don't want to lose it. These guys want their guaranteed victory, and the RBD boys want to come back and do some nice kills here. So top lane, we're seeing a pretty 5-man Dota going on right now. We got one Sneakerino right down here. He's in the woods, Mr. Yugi, but oh no, it's Bigfoot behind them. Nah, Bigfoot ain't there. So
Bigfoot looks unusually hairless in that rendition. But
he's the cookie monster.
Yugi gonna use his phase shift without orbing. He's dead. Yeah.
Gang, see you later. Oh, is this? They're actually gonna try to do this here with Stan and Dan. Stan and Dan
Big
does have
dog.
the agency. He knows that now any second now. So he's gonna try to go in here. We got the BKB. Gonna be Shadow Fade. No, he's stunned by Troll Warlord. No one for you. And Troll Warlord is gonna be able to save his Storm Spirit from that insta kill there. Stan and Dan cleaning up house. We've got a stun on the Clockwork. He's stuck in the cogs, and the cogs are out of there. Ultra kill coming out from Confessor. No goal today, ladies and gentlemen. Only death.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's still a tier 1 in this lane, but either way, Confessor, massive engagement going their way. It's about a 3,200 experience swing and almost a 2,500 in the way of gold going Apezone's way, and it looks to be the case always that Rebeldes does very well in the laning stage, but Apezone just great mid-game decision-making. They go in there 4v5, as you mentioned, and yet have a great engagement there, so obviously Yugi, very, very effective bait.
Yeah. That was a great... I mean, he knew that Aegis had to be up any second now, so he just went absolutely ham. That's exactly what they should have done. The Voodoo spell is out on Troll Warlord. Troll doesn't seem to really care. He's just going to keep pounding on people. They have struck out on this Vengeful Spirit out of position, and they're chasing her. Not going to happen. A little stun on Stan and Dan. Stan and Dan has 0 mana now. He's going to go down, surprisingly, and they are going to pop
Paul
the
Lightning
well.
killed the Shadow Fiend. Oh yeah, it was the Fisher. Yeah, sorry, I apologize there. But they do get the SF. Hook forward is going to be onto Cat from Liposa. They do bring down Banana King, and the blink out from Confessor will be there. So they bring down the Shadow Fiend once again. They lose the Storm Spirit and the Skywrath. Not the biggest deal for them. Still nice to bring down that SF. And now Confessor catching up heavily in terms of the net worth. Rocket Flare going to scout Yugi out bottom. He's used his orb to farm here. Needs to be a little bit careful. Can blink out and TP. He's going to blink underneath the tower and TP. A little questionable from him. There's trees right here. Like these are good stuff. But either way, Just balls deep.
He never wants to get out of a team fight without a slither of health. So he TP's under the tower just to make it look cooler.
If the hook shot comes in there, he's dead, but unfortunately, for Lipo, so that was on cooldown. So either way, looks like it'll be an MKB coming out for Confessor. Certainly nice, anticipating perhaps a Butterfly to come out eventually for this SF, but already Scythe of Vice is going to be the choice from the Shadow Fiend. A little bit of an interesting pickup from him as the Bloodstone comes out for Dan Storm Spirit.
What? Is this the Shadow Fiend late game support? A Scythe of Vice? Yeah. Can you walk me through that? Is that good?
I mean, it secures you at least a Requiem, you know? So 1v1, it's not bad, especially with the Blink. Somewhat like the Yules, gives you a little bit of a mana pool for extra raises. But yeah, not the greatest item on Shadow Fiend. I mean, he's not an Ursa or anything where he really needs to lock someone down to right-click them. Especially with having the BKB. But, yeah.
We were talking about this team does have a ton of escapes, and if Shadow Fiend gets that kind of one-on-one engagement, he certainly does want to be able to clean that up. So maybe not the worst pickup. I mean, he will be dealing a ton of damage, and making sure that his target isn't able to escape him might actually prove pretty beneficial. But it is a big risk. I mean, you're trading all that damage for just kind of a stun. It's pretty scary stuff. Yeah, and 1 minute till Roshan is up, and they're constantly scouting this out with Rocket Flare from the side of RBD. Perhaps they feel like their pit fight is pretty strong, but I definitely would favor Ape's lineup in that sense. And CYS going to get caught out completely top lane. Jump forward. Mystic Flare almost going to whiff totally, but they'll still bring him down under the cover of the Ancient Seal. And that's a big kill. 60 seconds down. No buyback available to this Bristle. And they will TP back to base. A couple of heroes perhaps look to take the Roshan off the back of that pickup. Certainly wouldn't be a bad choice from them. He's up in about 10 seconds. Here we go. They're checking in again. He's still not there. 10 seconds left. Oh no, don't stand right under him. He could crush you. Oh, thank God. Standing Dan is walking out. Right as he walks out, that Rosh will be appearing. Bloop. Any second now. Yeah, there he is. And there he is. Yep, and unfortunately they don't quite scout it out yet. So... How ugly is Roche's face? Can we just talk about this for a moment? There he is. How ugly is this yellow thing on his forehead? Is that like... That's his eyeball. Nah, just kidding. I don't know what that thing is. They are going to scout it out from the side of Apezone. Everyone back in 10 seconds for Rebeldes, but with no tier 1 in their safe lane, no tier 1 in their mid, they don't really have an access point to the pick quite yet. Rocket Flare is going to scout out their Roshan as well as Dan briefly, so they do know that the potential of a Roche attempt is here, but not really in position quite yet to defend it, and it doesn't look like they're too willing to do so. Rocket Flare will go to scout it out. Battle Trance is going to be popped here, and they are going to scout Confessor, but he's going to melt this Roshan way too quickly for them to make an attempt on contesting. They can jump in with the hook shot, but Shadow Fiend's already been aggressed onto by GKTA and the Skyrath. He will have to pop his BKB. He tapes out the Earthshaker, but it's kind of worth creating the space for the Aegis for the Troll Warlord. I would say that he wasn't. Earthshaker was not going to be getting a good Echo Slam into there, so it's okay that he dies. Sometimes you got to send a man out for the cost. Yeah, and they do bait out the 8-second BKB or 7-second BKB from HFN, so starting to dwindle down pretty considerably is his BKB. And Dan going to sit up pretty aggressively in the mid lanes. Got the Aegis available to him. Can look to make a bunch of work happen with that. So he is going to walk over towards the Ancient Stack. Is going to find someone farming. That's going to be CYS's Bristle, but he'll back off in due time, and Dan just gonna look to farm this up with his Aegis. That's an interesting choice. He's just kind of getting them a little bit lower for Bristleback. Maybe a kindness, a little bit of pity coming out from the Storm of Spirit here, as he looks to maybe get another pick off on somebody. We're seeing Farm City up here though from Team Dire. They're just looking to get as much farm as they possibly can, and then probably engage when that Aegis is about to go down. So yeah, let's look at Confessor's items. What's this guy got? Oh! Homie got a Daedalus! Yeah, he did a lot of damage there. Plock, gonna plock to the ground. And he'll be orchid it up. And he's brought down here. Dan, easy kill, 9 stacks on his Bloodstone at this point, and is looking to start to ball forward. Will pick up his full BKB pretty soon as well. Confessor's going to run into Cat. Should be a fairly easy kill on the Vengeful, and gets that one right click off before the Magic Missile. Easy kill for Confessor. That's 2 down, no buybacks, both the supports from RBD. Age is still available. We'll see if Apezone looks to aggress up towards some buildings with this one. It would be goofy not to. Those 2 supports are doing such work to be able to control these guys with both pickoffs on both those zoning supports taken out. they would be foolish not to take at least one tower. So that's exactly what they're going to be doing.
Yeah, Confessor going to put a bunch of chip damage into this tier 2 in the mid lane and should be able to bring it down pretty much uncontested. The supports will begin to respawn now. They don't have the full lineup. Top lane, we will see perhaps a clash between Yugi and HFN, but HFN going to clean him up. And the blink out.
Oh, no!
And the hook in mid lane onto Confessor. This is big. He's going to pop his BKB and turn into the clockwork. He'll bring the clock down, but feeds his life over. Nice set of wins going the way of RBD. And overall, it's the Witch Doctor to take the troll kill in the mid lane. He does bring down the clock, as we mentioned there, but still not worth feeding his life over. And we will see now the Butterfly out for the Shadow Fiend. So instead of going for the MKB, we saw the troll go for the Dayless. Meanwhile, bot lane, Dan going to try and bring down Plock once again, and he will be able to do so. Not sure if he'll be able to zip away. He does zip to the high ground, and TP will be just fine. 10 stacks on his Bloodstone, full BKB. Age is still available for about 2 minutes at this point, so has made quite a bit of use out of it.
Yeah, man. So Witch Doctor only needs one more component for that Aegis, so I can certainly see why the Storm Spirit wants to keep on jumping on him. Make sure that, not Aegis, excuse me, Ags doesn't come out quick, because that Ags could certainly rip some people up, especially if they're caught in the cogs and got no way out. Yeah,
mid lane, Mystic Flare out onto FHN. Massive kill onto the Storm Spirits. Dan zipping from almost the tier 2. In the top lane there, and 11 stacks on his Bloodstone now. Still Aegis available to him, and the Shadow Fiend down for 75 seconds without buyback. Unfortunately, nothing really to take except for tier 2 from the side of Ape without risk. Confessor going to respawn now, and he's going to join up with his team in the mid lane. Dan ready to aggress forward. He's got the Invis Rune, probably is going to scout out Liposa here as he walks up to the high ground. GKTA is going to be spotted out, however. He's going to be hooked into, but Cat immediately jumped on by Dan. He should be able to bring him down. He doesn't dodge the cask, but he will pop his BKB, brings down that Vengeful Spirit. Will be able to zip out. Confessor coming in from the backlines is going to blink forward onto CYS. First hit bash brings him very low. BKB going to be popped, but the physical damage is real into this Bristleback. The zip forward. CYS still alive, however. GKTA waiting for the thing to expire, and he's not going to be able to bring him down. Bristleback keeping himself up with that passive Plock, though. Once again going to die on the Witch Doctor, and that's 3 down from the side of RBD. The buyback situation is very grim for them. None available on the Radiant.
Looking grim here, folks, for Team RBD. They've got 10 seconds left on the Shadow Fiend, though, so they'll probably just get one Troll Warlord ult. We'll see how much damage that does. Apparently an insane amount, as they're not even using the Troll ult to take out this tower. It's just going down ham right now. Here we go, Stan and Dan jumping behind the tower, and a hook into there to try to save them, but they got hit with the Dream Coil. And it's going to be a huge explosion going out from QQQ. The tears are everywhere. Q is in fact going G, and that man is dead as well. The Skywrath Mage falls. Not what they wanted to see here. Stan and Dan taken out as well. Great jump to arms by that Shadow Fiend. He got right up in their face and stopped that push dead in its tracks.
And we see the first usage of the Scythe of Ice, and was a very effective one against Dan. He comes up with a full HP pool, absolutely gets melted under the Hex there, and that would have been massive if he survived. They wouldn't have lost too much, just the Troll Warlord and the Skywrath at that point, but the Storm going down, kind of a big deal. He did have a lot of Bloodstone charges though, so he's already back up and looking to create some more space, make some more happen with solo picks. He's going to zip all the way down into the mid lane onto Cad, and then he's just going to back off.
Yep, mental warfare, you know. They need to know they'll never be safe. But QQ, he's got himself a butterfly, and he's got almost 3 grand on the bank too. What's his next item, you think?
I wouldn't mind Daedalus. I wouldn't mind the Scotty either, but he seems pretty tanky under his BKB, especially with the Hex available to him as well. And until a MKB is picked up by this Troll Warlord, he's very tanky up against the physical damage effectively. So, yeah, Troll going for the Daedalus, a little bit odd as opposed to the MKB. He also built into the Hyperzone afterwards, so perhaps looking for his AC before MKB, but I expect him after the seeing the pickup of the Butterfly to go back for his MKB beforehand. We'll see if he makes that decision. 2,500 gold currently on the Troll Warlord. Can pick up a Demon Edge if he likes, but still, buyback 1,287 gold right now.
Looks like these guys are looking to get a little bit aggressive. They know that Shadow Fiend just cleaned up an entire team basically on his own. So they're going to be buying a smoke and hoping that they get just the right pick-off to keep them in this tournament. Let's see if it happens here.
Yeah, speaking of which, HFN level 24 now as well, so highest in the game on the SF. Certainly looking a little bit scary.
But again, I mean, they've got a ton of burst damage, and a lot of it's magical. And when that BK Monkey King bar comes out, if they get a few stacks on him, he's not going to last very long at all. So it's really a 5 protect 1 kind of scenario that we're seeing here.
Yeah. Definitely so. The Bristleback built pretty defensively, so no one very worried about him. Crimson Guard, Sanjin Yasha, and the BKB up on the Bristle. Jump forward mid lane, though. Dan going to be able to pop his BKB. They're going to jump onto HFN as well. He will get swapped out of harm's way, but jump forward GKTA. Echo Slam is there. Requiem doing a lot of work, however. Mystic Flare will be onto HFN, and he will drop. Dan finding the last kill there. Dan dropping pretty low. Will be able to zip to the high ground. TP away. Meanwhile, for Confessor, brings down the Vengeful. He will die as well, though. Overall, 3 for 3. Exact same trade going both ways. Only the offlaner and 1 core up for either side. SF, Troll, and their 2 supports from either side going down. Yugi pretty deep behind enemy lines. Not sure exactly what he's doing in the base here, but 1 second until his blink's available. He does blink, not into the trees once again. And he should be able to jaunt out here, and he's just going to stay in the base and die.
Well, it was a good try. I don't really know what he was doing back there. He was kind of scouting out their fountain, and it turned out that there was a couple dudes.
He didn't do any damage to buildings, so a little bit interesting. Maybe he took out a tier 2 in this top lane, perhaps. But
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they certainly could have used him for that team fight, and I bet that definitely would have swung it their way. But good,
please.
Just the reaction times.
Yugi,
What's
please. I just said Yugi, please. I don't really know
Yugi, please.
he's been involved in much at all in either of these 2 games, but the vision he got in game 1 was certainly nice. They ended up losing that one. Oh no, they won that one, so that certainly
won that one.
That certainly helped out. But a little bit of illusion scouting coming here from Dan, and he's gonna find most of the heroes of RBD postured up pretty defensively here.
They got the Scythe device coming out on the Storm Spirit. That is going to be absolutely gigantic. The amount of hurt they're going to be able to put on Shadow Fiend right now is going to be nutty. He is their #1 target. I think that last team fight was fantastic. That huge jump on the Dan and that almost instant BKB saving his life and turning that around. So you don't want to mess with Dan, man. That guy knows what he's doing.
Standing Dan. But either way,
go stand the Dan.
We got the AC completed up by Confessor. That'll help accelerate the push as well as supplement their physical damage here up against some of these tankier heroes from RBD. HFN still with the Butterfly, though. Nothing to deal with that quite yet from the side of Ape. So they do need to rectify that issue. Dan gonna have a big zip to the bot lane. No one home, though, for him to take out. And looks like RBD may be looking to push up the mid. FHN perhaps just cleaning out this wave and looking to back off.
Yeah, they're doing a little bit of bait here. They're sending in the Shadow Fiend. They know that they want the Shadow Fiend real bad, and lying in wait is his entire team behind them. Looks like they're not going to take that bait. They're just going to hide a little bit, do a little smoke, and do a little counter bait of their own. Standing Dan out of that smoke, and maybe they'll go right on top of him. And yep, ladies and gentlemen, this is the fabled super bait. 4 men smoked, 1 man visible. He's going to walk into the rockets. Let him have a taste. And this team doesn't care at all. They're all up top there. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah. Having none of it.
I've never seen it work, but I'm waiting for the day where that actually works.
Yeah, Rosha's going to spawn up soon. Rocket Flare should be here in time to see it, as well as the Static Remnant. So I think both sides have vision of this Rosh as he spawns. Pings come out from the Radiant, and I'm sure they saw it from the Dire as well. So both of them are well aware, and RBD a little bit out of position to defend this, but they will take a tier 2 if the Roshan is given over. And already the Troll Warlord into the pit. Tier 2 dropping very low. Glyph going to be popped here. TP canceled. Jump forward. Solo Echo Slam by GKTA. He's just creating space. He's going to feed his life over. Meanwhile, Confessor picks up the Aegis for the Storm Spirit. Cheese on the ground.
The cheese!
And there's no TP as well for the Troll. Yugi just trying to create some space with this haste, and should be able to do so. He picks up the Lincoln Sphere, as you mentioned, is the worst item ever in this game. So questionable decision from the puck, and he'll be able to blink out of this one, hopefully, for his sake. But he doesn't blink to the low ground. He actually looks to take the courier. And Dusky the Husky gonna be dead here, unfortunately. But Yugi probably gonna play with his life. No, he'll actually get back, and split push is real right now from Dan. CYS is gonna TP right into it. BKB popped up by Dan, but he's totally on by his lonesome. He forces a lot back, And meanwhile, the rest of his team not really able to find much. Magic Missile caught in the face by Banana King. Hook is there as well. Confessor going to look to reaggress. Dan has no mana left. And Yugi looking to find out Cat. Should be able to do so with his Blink. Going to have it canceled, however. And Liposa probably going to be the one to feed for his Vengeful, but Cat going to die as well. So a nice couple of trades going the way of Ape. But their mid lane is being pushed in by HFN. CYS, though, they know that they don't have the numbers advantage at this point. They are going to look to back off. And the Aegis still available here for Dan. Cheese might be on the ground in the pit. Did the courier pick it up for the Dire side? They did, so they do have that in base.
Oh, Cheese on the courier. Dusky dead.
Yep.
A plate mail. Witch Doctor's holding his friend's plate mail. Confusing things happening on both teams. But we'll see what happens. I mean, a Cheese on a Storm Spirit? That's just about as good as an Aegis.
Yeah, certainly
I don't know. I guess they're just holding it for him on the courier. That poor courier has to hold that stinky cheese, though. I don't think turtles like cheese.
Yeah, he's very, if you just watch the courier, it's so slow and methodical in its movement. It almost puts me to
It's
sleep.
very soothing.
Yeah.
Watching it right now in showcase mode, and I'm just very relaxed.
AC Wars are going to be answered by RBD. They're going to pick an AC up of their own on their SF as well. CYS picks up a Shivas, so a lot of armor going their way up against the Troll. Dan going to be the battering ram, stands on the front lines here, and it is a 5v5. Yugi's finally joined his team for this one. Aegis available to Dan. He'll just put some right clicks and force a defense. Jump forward. Hex is out onto HFN. They're going to look to bring down the Vengeful early. Big Echo Slam onto 3 from GKTA. HFN getting very low. No buyback available for him on the SF. Death Ward doing a lot of work here. Is going to bring down Confessor, but Dan still standing strong. No Aegis available to him. 14 Bloodstone charges. He will zip towards the Ancient, and no idea what he's doing quite yet. Trying to bring down this Witch Doctor. He will have to zip out of base, however. It is a 4 for 3 overall. Dan, the only one surviving, probably going to die here, and he will suicide. They get absolutely nothing out of it. Successful defense coming out from RBD, but their Shadow Fiend was down for most of it, so all the experience, 4,000 experience going the way of the Clockwork and the Bristleback.
I don't know what that means, but Temco Tomo Siudio Composte Mo Kiata. Coming out from Witch Doctor. Any ideas?
No. Poste? Does that mean like male?
Scrubs?
Probably something like that. Who jumps behind a barracks 5v5? I don't know. Whatever. Either way.
I don't know. Put some S-talk in there. Yeah, the Earthshaker had the cheese, and he didn't use the cheese. I don't know what that was about.
What does the S
Stinky
and S
cheese.
talking stand for? Stinky talk?
S-talk. We don't talk about that. We got the stinky cheese, though, still on Earthshaker. You should give that to the Shadow. I mean, the Storm Spirit. Give him the cheese. Give him the cheese. And he's not going to do it. Give him the cheese! Do it!
They're just teasing you now.
They're thinking about it. Cheese! Give him the cheese!
That's a pretty damn good drawing of cheese, if I might say so myself.
Why won't he give him the cheese? Sorry. I'm going to let you cast for a bit. I got to wrap my head around this.
This is very cruel. 3,900 gold up onto CYS's Bristle after that engagement, and he'll be able to pick up his next item. He'll be pretty much 6-slotted on the Bristleback at this point. Can perhaps replace the treads with some bots at some point, but looking very good is the Bristle. The Troll Warlord still needs that MKB. 2,900 gold available to him. SF now has his AC, as we touched upon earlier, and is essentially 6-slotted. Can replace the Blink at some point.
Well, it looks like both teams are yet again licking their wounds. Once again, that they got 4 out of 5 guys, and they just lost everybody that they needed to be able to push. Pucky needs to get, maybe, I don't know. If I was Puck, I'd be thinking about a Necrobook. She seems to be the only one alive, and she's constantly pushing. So I don't know. I would like to see Puck be able to do something with that push, because she's not really using that at all.
Yeah, split push commencing top lane. Zip forward from Dan onto CYS. He's going to get the Orchid up. The Bristleback's totally isolated at this point. Mystic Flare is going to be there. Body blocks, inbound, concussive shot. Crimson Guard going to be popped. Echo Slam going to get soaked up by the BKB. And they expend a lot for this Bristle. They're not going to get much of it. HFN able to defend up the top lane as well, up against the push from Yugi. And now Apezone not going to find much here with their Echo Slam down for the next little bit.
Well, Storm Spirit, he is going to go ahead and build a Shiva's Guard to complete his 6 slots. No room for cheese now. That part's over. And the cheese will remain on Earthshaker. That's really all I care about anymore is the cheese.
Right?
Look at that.
Right?
Wow!
1,800 gold up on GKTA as well. Probably will build into a scythe for his side, but still quite a ways away from that, about 1,700. Dan looks to be caught out top lane. No mana available to him. The suicide down is ready as well, I should say. Big kill going the way of RBD. He's down for 60 seconds. No buyback. Yugi going to be able to jaunt out to the east and will be just fine, but no split push going on at the time as well.
Look at this Troll Warlord. He's got nothing. Nobody's down there. I guess they TP'd in just from the threat of the creeps. They assumed he'd be pushing, but Troll's deciding I'd rather farm the small creep camp here at the 46-minute mark and get a nice $100 under my name rather than a free barracks.
Why not?
Good for you, Confessor.
Why not?
Why not? Who's got the cheese?
Tis mine.
The cheese still up onto GKTA.
Damn it!
If he gave it over to the Storm in the mid lane, maybe he doesn't die top. Jump forward in the top lane, though. Hex is up onto Yugi. Actually was onto a creep. Yugi able to phase shift it, but he will probably pay with his life regardless. Has the blink available, though. Is going to blink finally into the trees. He figured it out. Yugi, trees. Trees, good stuff. Will be able to phase a Maledict tick as well. But meanwhile, Bristleback solo killing up that Skywrath mage.
And we're just seeing picks all over the place. I thought Yugi was dead. Personally, I had no idea he lived through that, so good for Yugi. Nice play there. Into the trees. And the cheese remains in the inventory. It's all
You just had to transition back to the cheese, didn't you?
I just want to see him eat the cheese!
But either way, only 6 stacks left on Dan's Bloodstone now. He's picked up a Shivas for his team, which is nice. Finally, the MKB comes out for Confessor, but he's only sitting on 700 reliable gold. Needs another 1,000 in order to secure his buyback. So a little bit worried for some for him. Liposa. Yep, he's gonna hex up Dan, and he's got a lot of mana. He's
out of there.
He does BKB.
Where's the party?
The Fisher will be there on the CYS. Does bait out a BKB charge from the Storm, and not sure if it mattered. Probably was at 5 seconds regardless. But either way, he'll survive there, which is a big deal. They will forfeit this tier 2 tower because of it. And the cheese still not eaten. Looks more like a house than a cheese.
Yeah, that was a messed up cheese rod. My bad.
Jump forward from Confessor.
On the Bristleback, they're going to try to knock him out as quickly as possible. Confessor getting stunned out, and here comes Dan. Put a little bit of hurt. Confessor is now sheeped. Could he go down? If he goes down, this could be a disaster. He's walking away, barely any health, and they take out the Bristleback. Now all that's left is the Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend trying to do what he can. They're going to take out Dan. A very big pick there. Yugi, oh! He's going to pop it. Can he get a kill? Come on, Yugi! Oh! He's out. They did not get the Shadow Fiend kill. Not a good trade for them. The Bristleback for the Storm Spirit. Meanwhile, split push is not happening at all. That was actually a TP. And how are we doing on Cheesegate 2015? Where's the cheese?
Still on the air.
It's still not eaten. The cheese remains. The stinky remains. Draw the lines of the stink. Eat the cheese.
It is now
wow,
aged.
A new Roche is up. There's a new freaking Roche that's gonna drop cheese number 2. Why won't he eat the cheese?
Yeah, aged cheese at this point. Rocket Flare going to scout things out. It's going to find the Roshan here. Double damage rune going to be secured by GKTA. And he's going to put one big smack into that Roshan. And not going to use the rest of his double damage. Oh, there you go.
I hope they give him the cheese too. I hope he just carries the cheeses. And
I think Yugi's a little bit of a better target for the cheese here. If Dan isn't able to get close enough. He respawns in 8 seconds. Looks like Rebeldes may be looking to mount contest towards this Roche, but they're going to be way too late to the party. Confessor popping up the battle trance. He's going to get that Aegis for free. And we'll see who they end up giving it to.
The second cheese! He did take the cheese! Double cheese!
Why?
He's got 2 cheeses! I didn't know cheese stacked. I learned something here today. 2 cheeses in the inventory of Earthshaker. We got a freaking deli zone in the Earthshaker. Double cheese!
Gotta need some crackers for that shit at this point, but
wow.
Dan gonna jump towards the mid lane. Very, very low on Bloodstone stacks at this point, but as we mentioned, did pick up that Shivas, so we'll be able to jump into the team fight and provide that extra armor aura for his team. We'll see if Confessor can bring down a HFN finally with his MKB up, but a full Satanic available to HFN now is a very big item for him. Will allow him to survive up more often than not under the cover of his BKB.
Yep, well, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen now. Both teams have had a chance to win this game, and they've both kind of thrown it. It's anybody's game at this point. One bad team fight for either team is going to spell disaster. Clockwork with another scythe device. They're finally getting enough stuff to be able to hold these guys down in place. That's really all they need to do. Shadowfiend is hitting so hard right now. If he could just keep everybody there, not phasing and blinking and all that garbage, they can certainly beat them all to death. So I like the sheep stick pickups from almost everybody on this team.
Yeah, 2 sheeps on the side of RBD, 1 sheep on the side of Ape, and another one inbound at some point from the Earthshaker. He can actually sell those cheese for 500 gold each. I'm not sure if you knew that.
Don't sell the cheese. You'll break my heart. Please, please just eat it.
Rocket Flare gonna scout out Dan, but everyone smokes behind him, so if they jump forward with a Hex onto this Storm Spirit, they could feed over one of their big targets here, but doesn't look like they're gonna bite the bait yet.
Not biting the bait. They're checking it out. The rocket lies. It says there's nobody there. Could they try to initiate? Nope. Dan's briskly walking away, and he will be just fine. Only 4 charges left on Dan's Bloodstone now. He's had quite a few pickoffs here.
Yeah, he's died quite a bit after accruing something like 12 charges, so unfortunately for him, not the most impactful item at this point, but either way, still will bring his res timer down a bit, so it is certainly nice if they look to take a couple of engagements. Confessor will be able to pick up his Satanic sometime soon to respond to the Shadow Fiends. He's got 3,600 gold available to him, so just needs a bit more for recipe and buyback.
Cheese Alert 2015. He still has them. He hasn't sold them yet. So
just in case you guys are wondering.
I'll let you know when the cheeses are gone.
Either way, 3,500 gold up onto GKTA. So he's not far off his scythe. He can actually almost purchase it in about 100 gold if he doesn't save for buyback. And I mean, if he gets off his Echo Slam, that's all they really need from him. So,
ladies and gentlemen, the fabled level 1 Dagon at 52 minutes coming out from Puck. An incredible item dealing in a massive 400 damage here.
He does have the E-Blade, right? So
he does have the E-Blade, so that's going to be half of 400, 200, 600 damage. And that's going to be crazy. I mean, look at Witch Doctor's health. He only has 2,000 health. So after 4 or 5 Dagon strikes, he might be taken out.
Yeah, definitely so, especially if it's from the backside where it'll do even less damage. But either way, Yugi gonna look to build into that E-Blade Dagon heavily here, and is probably not gonna find too much in the way of progression on his Dagon. As this game seems to be coming to a close, it feels like one engagement could spell death for either side. We'll take a look at the buyback scenarios. The Dire very lacking on buybacks, only the Troll the one with buyback at this point. Radiant have it on SF, Bristle, and the Witch Doctor.
Wow, where do you tell that from?
Silent.
I'm cereal. Could you teach me?
The little buyback chart, yeah.
There's a buyback chart?
Yeah, like where the net worth is, and the there's a buyback status tab.
What?
Yeah.
Tight. I'm gonna look at that right
Thanks,
now.
Volvo.
Wow! It just says yes and no.
Yeah, it's very informative, but
very good.
Either way, Storm, Stan, and Dan just eclipse the gold amount to have buyback, but if he dies, not sure that he will have it regardless. They do have pretty much the most influential heroes in the game having buyback. Troll, Storm, Bristle, and SF all having it at this point. So don't think that one engagement will end it, but certainly could be a lot of structural damage for either side.
Indeed. Now, I've got a question for you. This might be a little bit difficult to answer, but it's kind of in the late game. It's extremely important. So I was wondering, when are they going to eat the cheese? Still got 2!
You know, the question is far out of the scope of my knowledge, and it's a little bit too difficult for me to answer, but 5,800 gold, 6k gold now onto Confessor. Dagon 2 picked up by Yugi. Huge item pickup. Could be the end of the game. He'll pick up a Haste Rune as well.
Dagon 2!
Yeah, but either way, zip forward from Dan, bottom. They're going to get the Scythe onto CYS. Jump forward, Battle Trance. They're going to have the Electric Vortex onto him as well, but he's turned around. Big Echo Slam onto CYS. Pops his BKB Requiem, doing a lot of work, and the Aghanim's Deathlord bouncing through. It's going to bring down Dan. Confessor goes down as well. That's 3 down from the side of Ape. The E-Blade Dagon, not enough to bring CYS down. Yugi stuck in the trees. Quills should finish him off here. He's going to be able to blink to the south if he wants to do so, and will be able to. Buys a TP from the side shop and should be able to TP out pretty reliably here, but 3-0 going the way of Brazil. And they are going to take this tier 2 with relative ease. Buybacks available on both the Storm and the Troll, and you'll probably see them expend them soon.
The cheese is down. The cheese has been eaten by Earthshaker. Only one cheese remains.
It's a sad day. It's a sad day
Sorry.
in the dairy
Meanwhile,
fields.
a buyback comes up from Troll Warlord. Double buyback going up for Storm Spirit. They're going to engage as hard as they can here. And Q is about to be cried. Huge save by the Vengeful Spirit. Actually drags him on back. Vengeful Spirit going to pay for that with their life. They're putting everything they have on Standing Dan. Standing Dan is out of there, though. And they're moving all that damage on to Confessor. Confessor trying to get a stun. He is not having a single stun there. Here he goes. He's going to work. He's getting get the Q. Q is alive, and they're going to clean it up. The Earth Spirit is... Earthshaker's dead. Yugi is dead. Their counter initiation has failed. Yugi lives through a miracle of science. Yugi is alive. Storm Spirit, is he going to go back in? Does he have any mana? What is he doing? He wants QQ. Can he get him? He cannot. He's cogs down. He's got 0 mana. He just bought back. He threw the game. Standing Dan is diggity done. That's a double buyback. I'm going to call it right now. You just lost, Standing Dan. The cheese has still not eaten.
Yes, there is still a cheese remaining for Ape, so when the Earthshaker responds, they'll probably win the game. But that's 40 minutes from now, so easy lane of racks going that way. Yugi gonna jump forward. He'll bring down the Witch Doctor. It doesn't really matter, though. BKB gonna be popped by CYS. They bring down the Skywrath Mage. Yugi is able to jaunt out, but GG, well played. Coming out from Banana King, and this is gonna go to a game 3.
This could still happen. Why are they GGing? They still got enough CS to do this.
They still have a cheese.
Do it with flair.
No, they still have the cheese. Please. That's it. You're right. They're just gonna take out the Ancient. Yugi. Look at Yugi. He's just watching in shame, and he flies back to the base.
You picked up another Dagon.
Do it, Yugi. Do it. He's just standing still. He tried to deny the Ancient. It didn't work.
Yep, either way, Brazilian gonna tie this one up 1-1. We're gonna go to a deciding game 3, guys. You're being joined by myself, More Rage Please, and Sir Action Slacks, the omniscient one himself. In this one, we are gonna come back for this game 3 very shortly, guys. Slacks, any last thoughts on the game aside from the cheese?
Oh, good catch there. I was going to mention that again. Okay, well, it was a heck of a game. Once again, these two Titans are facing off, and they seem pretty darn even matched. It could have gone either way, just one bad team fight. That Storm Spirit buying back, zipping in, having no mana, and not getting a single pick. Going to cost them the game there. We should see one heck of an incredible final match to see who moves on in the illustrious Dota 2 Canada Cup.
Yeah, actually, winner of this game goes right in. So, very big third game coming up. Yeah, 2 teams qualify, actually. So, this is technically the semis, but both the winners of the semis will make it through to the group stage, which begins in 3 days, guys. So, definitely stick around. Big match coming up next.
Yay.
Leave and stop formatted.